and Curious podcast. Today is a very special episode because I am with my dear friend Jordan Stawecki, who is a New York City club kid fashion icon, and
I loathe club kid.
You loathe club kid?
I don't like that term.
Okay, well, you're just a trendy twink.
Trendy twink.
I have with me Jordan Stawecki, one of my favorite trendy twinks.
Terror twink, if you will.
Yeah. And we are going to be discussing this past tragic fashion week, which was pretty bland, pretty terrible. COVID fashion has sucked ass. What's been your take on COVID fashion thus far?
I'm into I've been really into mask fashion, working I have a headband. I do my whole thing. I love the Rick Owens ones. I love the Miu Miu masks. I'm into incorporating it into it. Some people get annoyed by it, but I don't know. I'm into it.
You're into masks and fashion shows?
I think, yeah.
And mask wearing in general?
Well, we have to get used to wearing masks. I mean, people are going to be doing it, so why not look chic? I don't want to wear these stupid masks that are just ugly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bring back designer high fashion masks.
Yeah, mine, I have a silky one with a strap. I love silk on your face, you know. You don't want bad quality. I don't know. This fashion week has definitely been, I don't know, there's a lot of awful things. Paris Hilton for Lanvin. No,
I agree. That was messy.
That was really
messy.
That was one of the worst things.
Well, for sure. Here's what I have to say. Okay, actually, no, I didn't want to start with this, but let's actually just go into it right now because while we're on the topic, with all due respect, as much as I love Paris Hilton, if the clothes are so bad that you need Paris Hilton to make your brand seem relevant again, I think that's an issue. I think, I love Paris Hilton. She obviously looks gorgeous in those pictures.
I'm just not a fan. I don't get the interest in her. But it's the same with Britney. I don't get it. I'm not into it.
You're not about it?
I just think they're boring. They're not, I like a few Britney songs, but, she's no Madonna.
Ooh, tell it.
I don't know. The whole fascination with Britney Spears, it's really strange to me. She's just kind of this, white trash, American, and I don't know. I despise that.
Yeah, well,
it's not my thing.
It's not your thing. Well, I think Britney's amazing. Personally, that's okay. You're allowed to be a hater.
I mean, I feel bad for her. But I also think she needs to be under a conservatorship. She seems fucking nuts.
Yeah, she does seem a little
her Instagram.
Nuts.
What is with the eye makeup? It always looks like she just got gangbanged. Her hair is insane, and the dancing. I don't know. I'm really
Well, she's obviously let's be real, Britney is not well.
She's not well.
But
yeah.
let's get back on track to, this is not the free Britney
They
episode.
should have used Britney for the Lanvin.
I bet they would have if they could have accessed Miss Britney Spears. I mean, honestly, Lanvin is, it's an amazing brand. It's an amazing house. It's a staple in high fashion for sure. But I definitely think that it's not very interesting. The clothes, I don't even remember what the collection looked like personally. And I think that, it's great that Paris is having this new sort of moment of relevance. However, I think that a great fashion campaign doesn't need Paris Hilton to make it.
No.
If the clothes are good, it will stand on its own as a great work of art. I think whatever, it's fine.
To me, it cheapens it. It just to me, Lanvin, I don't know. It's luxurious, but then you put Paris Hilton, and I'm just I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know who did that, but they should be fired.
Your words, not mine. No, I think that Paris Hilton is cool. I like Paris Hilton personally. I think she's amazing. I think it's cool to see her in a different context for sure. I just think that we wouldn't be talking about Lanvin if it hadn't been for Paris in that campaign. And I think that's the real tragedy, is that the art itself isn't interesting enough.
Yeah, Lanvin is not. I used to be into it.
When Albert Albaz was there.
Yeah, of course. I don't know. Fashion is very tragic right now. I think one of the things that's gotten really I just can't stand is Gucci. I literally, if I see like the Gucci monogram, I just think it looks so tacky and just cheap. But Gucci is just like driving me crazy.
Oh no.
I'm really not into it. I don't know.
I don't mind Gucci. I mean, I like Gucci in the way that it's clearly has its own vision and its own aesthetic, and Alessandro Michele is stuck to that vision and that aesthetic from the very beginning. And I mean, it's definitely not for everybody. And unfortunately, like the pieces that are the most shopped are typically like the most gaudy pieces.
Yeah.
And like, but Gucci is like intentionally gaudy,
Okay.
which I kind of respect in a way, because at least it's self-aware.
But Tom Ford at Gucci. Come
Well,
on.
of course.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's the same with Dior, you know, Galliano, to Raf Simons, which I didn't hate, and then now Maria Grazia, and we could go on and on about that.
Yeah, I don't even think it was interesting enough to mention personally. Like, I mean,
I don't know.
yeah. Well, let's unpack just like shows that we loved. Like, should we start with stuff we hated?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so
Let's start with stuff we hated and end on a positive note.
So Valentino, I wasn't incredibly interested in. The only thing that I love Maria Carla, and she was in this beautiful like lace dress. That's the only thing I remember from it. Forgettable, the rest of it.
I liked Valentino personally. I thought that like it was really normally Pierpaolo does such like exuberant, bright, colorful collections, and I felt like it was very nice to see sort of like a black moment and a dark moment from Valentino. I also liked it too because I felt like it wasn't too ostentatious. I feel like a lot of times at Valentino it's very sort of like dress and evening wear heavy, and I felt like this collection had much more like day wear options, which I felt was good. And I just felt like I could see people wearing it in real life, and I feel like a lot of times with Valentino I don't really get that.
Yeah, I think that's a common thing that's happening. Like clothes are much more like with Dior once again. You know, it's like clothes are much more. There's not a lot of drama anymore. You know, there's not the. I mean, Galliano.
Yeah, it's definitely not Galliano at Dior for sure.
And it's just like, I get it. Dior is like, it's good for Dior. They're making a lot of money. It's like feminism. It's like that whole thing. And it's working very well for Dior. And like, it's a women's brand. It's like, you know, the history of it is like.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
But honestly, like, Dior is never that interesting personally. Like, I understand that it sells. And at the end of the day, like, clothing is meant to be worn, and I think it's good that people are creating. I think in one way quarantine has been good because it sort of like made people realize that these clothes have to be worn somewhere, and people don't want to look like crazy ostentatious.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but that's why I'm hoping that the following Fashion Week is going to be an explosion of creativity.
Well,
because obviously this past fashion month has just been like not a lot of creativity.
I mean, I
frankly.
think there's going to be a renaissance. You know, it's like history repeats itself. We're in such a crazy time. Like,
yeah,
things are going to be crazy. New York. I feel like New York's going to be insane. You know, I'm about to move back, and I just feel like it's going to be crazy. I think creativity is going to explode. I really, truly believe that like there's going to be like a cultural like renaissance, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, I think so too. Speaking of Renaissance, let's move on to Milan for a second, just because I felt like Milan had some cool offerings. Like, let's start with Blue Marine.
Blue Marine.
Blue Marine.
Yeah. I didn't look at that show.
You didn't look at Blue Marine? No.
Sorry.
That's okay. Okay.
Do you like Raf Simons at Prada?
No.
No. I mean, the thing is, I think it's the first collection. You're not going to get like, I think good things could come out of it. You can't judge the first collection. It's like,
I'm just not a Raf fan personally. Like, I've never identified with his work, and I feel like it's so oversized and so sort of like shabbily cut and not particularly interesting or creative. Like, he has one sort of vision, and he has really, like, for the most part stuck to that vision for so long now. I feel like it's really like redundant and repetitive, and I don't mean to sound like a harsh critic, because obviously Raph is like a creative genius. He just excels at like one type of he excels at one type of silhouette, and I feel like I've seen that silhouette done 100 times in 100 different fabrics and 100 different colors and 100 different ways, and it's like I'm bored of it now, and I just don't. When I see Prada under Raph's direction, I see too much of Raph and not enough Prada, and I just don't feel like. I feel like the synergy is a little weird, and it's also a little bland. And also, did you see Haim at the Grammys wearing all that Prada?
That was interesting.
Oh my god!
I wasn't into it.
Those poor girls.
Yeah, wow. COVID fashion.
Fashion
it's
for sure.
Truly trash. Rick Owens, I loved the Rick Owens show.
Rick Owens was definitely also like, one thing I will say about quarantine fashion is the settings have been really interesting.
That's the thing, like the Prada show.
Yeah, definitely like people are, whether it was Miu Miu or even Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton normally shows in the Louvre, but they showed in like a more interesting part of the Louvre. Miu Miu did their show in a mountain. And so definitely like the settings of fashion shows have become more interesting. And also YSL, they did their show in like the sand dunes, which I thought was cool.
It's interesting to see how like it's evolving and like how how you have to work around COVID. Like it's cool, but it's cool how people can do it and like what comes out of it. Like you're designing clothes and then you have to figure out how to like work around a pandemic. It's pretty crazy.
I thought Moschino had like an excellent presentation. Jeremy, of course, like never lets me down. He's like such a show boy, and I thought that presenting his clothes in sort of like a very cinematic vision for that most recent collection. If you guys haven't seen it, Jeremy presented his collection in a sort of like movie montage that was sort of like a nod to old Hollywood in a way, and I felt like that was really cool. And he also had a lot of amazing supermodels wearing the clothes, and I felt like that was just such a beautifully and artistically done execution of a show during the pandemic. And I felt like that was an example of a designer who really excelled in showing and having an offering that was different and unique and really easy to digest at home on a computer.
For sure. And if anyone's going to excel in it, it's going to be Jeremy, because he's like, he knows how to have fun. His shows are always fun, it's just like I don't know. It's, it's never dull. It's always interesting. And I don't know. So I don't feel like some people haven't like gotten the COVID like shows down.
Yeah, definitely there are some people who are struggling. And also, I mean, if you're going to do a lookbook, like maybe do a lookbook in an interesting way. I felt like a lot of people didn't do that. I felt like I saw like a lot of boring lookbooks.
The Tom Brown one was interesting.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It almost looked like a collage. I liked it.
Yeah. Tom Brown always has such like interesting silhouettes too. He always really pushes craftsmanship as far as it goes in terms of clothing. I mean, and it's very conceptually driven, which I like too. He's obviously like an artist over a designer. I feel like some designers just make products and other designers make art. Yeah. And I feel like Tom is very good in terms of making art. Like his fashion is just interesting.
It's always interesting. I'm always intrigued, and that's like the best part about fashion, like always being like surprised. And like I think people get repetitive, and that's just like you have to reinvent, you have to like be creating new things. Like that's what makes fashion.
Or if you're gonna do something on the more simplistic side design wise, at least have it be desirable clothing. A good example of that I felt like was Celine. I feel like Celine under Hedi Slimane's direction is so good, and it's not because the clothes are particularly extravagant or super creative. I think it's just like he knows he's so good at like taking mental notes of what people are wearing around him. He like makes pieces that you already love but better.
Yeah, I don't know with that video they did at like the castle thing. Did you see that?
The one I saw,
I didn't love it. I don't know. I'm not too into it. I don't know. It's just like it's not exciting to me. I don't get excited for.
I get excited for it because I want to wear it.
I miss like Phoebe Philo, you know.
I don't miss Phoebe Philo personally.
Really?
As much as I love Phoebe Philo and I love her vision, she's not like my all-time fave. In terms of, honestly, it's nothing against her because all of her clothes are really beautiful and really spectacular, but I just felt like her aesthetic became so popular that it almost like made it difficult to stomach her collections at the very end.
That's how I feel about Gucci.
Yeah.
You know.
For sure. Like, but yeah.
Well,
I think it's time for Gucci to like reinvent itself a little bit.
I mean, Tom Ford Gucci is like one of my favorite like eras, you know, for sure. It's just like simple, sexy, like, it's just, but now I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Like his clothes now, it's just his own line. I don't get it, you know.
I think that there is room for improvement for sure, and I think that he has a very interesting vision. Yeah, I like Gucci. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I think the shows are always good, and I'm not saying that because I'm biased because I walked the show a bunch of times. Yeah. I genuinely think that he understands craftsmanship, he understands image. That being said, like, yeah, definitely I think that it would be nice to see him push himself to do something different. Like, whether that's being more minimal, and making maybe a more quiet collection. You know what was so great was his very first collection for Gucci, actually. It was still his sort of staple ideas, but it also wasn't like super accessorized.
Everything.
It was a little bit more quiet. Like,
it's just very overstyled and just like, you know, it's a lot.
It is a lot, but I'm glad that he exists because I think that he fills a very specific niche in fashion.
For sure.
Unfortunately, like the customers of Gucci, like the people who buy Gucci, a lot of the times, like, buy the not interesting pieces. So I think we get tired of it because we're tired of seeing it on like Jeffree Star. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah. I mean,
Jeffree Star's ruined a lot of monograms.
Jeffree Star's ruined a lot of monograms for sure. A lot of
monograms. Louis Vuitton.
Oh, Louis Vuitton was so good this season.
So good. The guy, like, I've never liked the gladiator sandal, but of course he made a chic gladiator sandal. Did you see it?
Yeah.
So good.
I thought that the shoes at Louis Vuitton this season were so good. That was like the thing that drew me the most. The thing that drew my eye the most to that collection was certainly the footwear. I felt like the footwear, like the shoes, he had like this kind of boot that had a strap over the toe, and yeah, I just think that definitely Nicolas Ghesquière is like the master of accessories, but I felt like everybody was putting out pretty like basic collections this season. And I feel like Louis Vuitton really pushed the envelope in terms of creativity. And in fact, I was sort of jarred when I first saw that collection.
Yeah.
Because I was sort of like, wow, this is a lot. Like, I was like, this is kind of a lot going on. It's very heavily styled.
It was a little different for him.
It was a little bit different. It almost kind of brought me back to like the Balenciaga days.
Yeah,
but
and that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, same. But
favorite eras.
I'm so not used to seeing that like aesthetic anymore. That like to see it again, like in 2021, was sort of like. And like it took me like when I first saw it, I was kind of like not super into it, but it took me a few days to digest it. And then the other thing about Louis Vuitton is sometimes like when all of the pieces are together, it can feel like a lot. But when you see the pieces individually, they're so well designed and so well crafted. Like, I thought the jackets at Louis Vuitton this season were really good. And I also...
quality, Louis Vuitton, it's just like, it's insane. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I don't know.
I thought Louis Vuitton had like a lot of really good like outerwear propositions, which I thought was amazing. I felt like there were a lot of coats in there that I could wear, that I could see myself in. I mean, a lot of times, like with a lot of these collections, like I find you have to dissect them a little bit.
For sure.
Like you have to like let them marinate. Like old Prada used to be like that for me. Like I'd see like it like Prada, you know, 10 years ago, you'd see a collection and you'd be like, whoa, that was a lot. I don't know how you're going to wear this. And then you give it like 2 weeks and then it's the only thing you can think about. And I feel like Nicolas Ghesquière at Louis Vuitton is, it's kind of like that sometimes. Not every collection is like that. I love it when he does like a more simple collection as well. But when he definitely is taking a more creative risk, it can be jarring to see something so different, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Then you look at it and you reevaluate it and then you start to break down the pieces and it's like, actually, I would love to wear that boot and I would love to wear that jacket and I would love to, I'd love to wear this and that. And I thought that, I liked Louis Vuitton a lot and they showed in the Louvre, and I felt like that was...
You're a Ghesquière gang.
I'm a Ghesquière girl through and through. And not just because I worked with him so much. Like, I would still be critical of him if I, like, didn't like a collection. Because even, you know, not every Picasso painting is a masterpiece. Not every Van Gogh is a masterpiece. And also, like, art is subjective. So, like, these are just my opinions on the art itself.
Absolutely.
It's not, like, me saying, you know... one man's trash is another man's treasure, you know?
For sure, yeah.
But I
Philip
felt...
Plein.
Girl.
Have you ever walked Philip Plein?
Yeah, I did.
No. You did?
No comment, girl. No, I like whatever. Like, it's a fun show to walk, I guess.
Which one was it?
Oh, I did one where it was like Chris Brown came out and performed for like 20 seconds.
Oh.
There were like monster trucks or something that carried us in.
What
I mean, like,
year was this?
Maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm like, yeah.
That's an
iconic
fashion
Did you
moment.
see Dolce & Gabbana this season?
Dolce
& Gabbana was Philip Plein.
I kind of loved. It's like
there was something about it that was like corny and tacky and it was very raver.
It's like just so crazy. It's like watching Fox News. It's just like so cringy and just like. It's crazy what it's become because I don't know. I really used to appreciate Dolce, you know? Like, I just don't understand, like, what drugs they're doing because it's really insane.
This past collection was definitely, like, a stylistic departure from what they've done before, but...
I'm liking it, though.
I think Dolce & Gabbana, if they did a sort of, like... nod to their past designs in the 2000s.
More simple. It's like the Gucci. They do like that overstyled, like those weird glasses.
It's just like a lot of product and it's hard to dissect the clothes. I mean, this is a critique I can have of like any designer. Like if you keep layering on shit and shit and shit and like it just is too loud and you see the look, but you can't understand the pieces that much. I feel like definitely like I understand people want to throw in as much product as possible into a fashion show, but I think it would be better if maybe they, toned it down a little bit and edited it more. Like I feel like instead of giving us like 100 psychotic looks with 100 different products, why not like let's go back to the days where there was like collections with like 35 looks.
35 looks, just like a little slutty little dress. See through. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on in the world of fashion.
Speaking of colorful collections, let's talk about Versace. What did you think of Versace?
I always love Versace. You know, it's like. I love the sex appeal. I don't know. Donatella really gets it. I would love to like be dressed in Versace all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it's like Louis
really
Vuitton.
luxe.
It's like luxury. It's just so luxurious.
And it's very cunty.
It's cunty. Yeah.
I like that about it too. It's
and I like
a girl with an attitude.
Oh, of course. And I like how they did the show.
The set design was really amazing for Versace.
It reminded me of the Gwen Stefani Wind It Up
Yes,
Right?
that is such a good reference. It was so the set design was so winded up, and I obviously like the most statement piece from that entire collection were the platform shoes. That was like the thing that everybody on the internet was raving for.
So cute. I love the headscarf too.
I like the headscarf for sure. Like I definitely liked the leather bandana moment. I'm not a huge platform girl.
Really?
No.
You like a good heel.
I like this is just my personal preference in shoes. I like a pump.
Okay.
I don't like a platform pump. I like a pump.
Yeah.
And maybe Versace had some pumps in the collection. I didn't see them if they did. All I saw was the platforms, and I felt like the platforms were I can see a lot of people wearing them. However, I'm getting tired of the platform.
It's like the Marc
personally.
Jacobs like with the Marc Jacobs ones. Remember
those
crazy ones?
I watched that show with those crazy platforms.
But those are I love those shoes, but they did become like, you know.
Yeah, I think like I understand the appeal of a platform. However, I think that the world is ready for a new shoe silhouette.
Yeah.
Outside of Bottega Veneta.
A nice stiletto.
Yeah, a nice stiletto. Yeah. Speaking of Bottega Veneta, did you pay attention to it at all? I saw it like very briefly in passing.
Yeah, I saw it in passing.
It didn't resonate with me.
For me, Bottega's like if you want a good bag, good leather, you go to them.
Yeah.
But like the clothes, it's like
good mules.
Yeah, but I don't know, not too interesting.
It didn't captivate me.
You didn't like Miu Miu?
No. I was not a fan.
Yeah.
I felt like it was...
It's just so fun to me. I think it's fun.
You think it's fun?
I think it's fun, and I think we're in a time when we need fun. Like Jeremy Scott does fun. I think, honestly, this is an unpopular opinion. I kind of love Demna. I love Balenciaga. I love Gasquier Balenciaga more, but I love that hourglass.
Can we stick to Miu Miu for a second before we move? I'm not done criticizing Miu Miu because I have a bone to pick with fucking Miu Miu because
let's go.
I just felt like it was so unbelievably unflattering. Like I just don't know a single girl who wants to dress like that. I really don't.
Brooklyn girls. That's a very Brooklyn, like a knitted. What's Elma? What's her name?
Also, there's a new stylist. It's no longer Katie Grand. It's Lada Volkova.
Oh, yeah. But she's good. She's great.
She's like the stylist or I don't know if she still styles Balenciaga, but she kind of like...
She's really good, though.
Yeah, she has an interesting perspective. I mean, that's why I wanted to talk about Blue Marine because I believe she styled Blue Marine, and Blue Marine is looking really cute recently. It's no tea with Lada Volkova. Like, I think she's a good stylist. However, I just felt like the collection was just like... snowsuits. Here's my thing about a snowsuit. Winter doesn't exist anymore because we have like global warming. Like how often does somebody need a Miu Miu snowsuit? I just felt like it wasn't like, I just felt like the silhouette was a bit too boxy. I felt like the styling was a little bit weird. I like it when Miu Miu is like a little bit more perversely Lolita-esque, French made. Like I like it when Miu Miu does like sort of like a twisted take on girliness, and not that this wasn't like a twisted take on girliness. It just didn't have that like underlying naughtiness that I normally like with a Miu Miu collection. I like it when Miu Miu is a little bit naughty.
I think the knitwear kind of ruined it for it. Knitwear can really ruin a like sexy kind of feel, you know. But the little...
That's not true. You can have a sexy sweater.
I don't know.
I beg to differ. I think sweaters can be very sexy.
A certain type of knit, like a Tom Ford Gucci knit.
Yeah.
But I don't like the crocheted. Like I learned how to crochet and knit, and it's just like I started making stuff and I was like, this isn't cute. Like, I just don't like the way it looks.
Yeah.
You know?
I just felt like it was, Miu Miu missed the mark for me. Personally.
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
Well, I thought it was interesting.
We can beg to differ on Miu Miu.
Beg to differ, baby.
Yeah.
What
were we talking about?
Demna.
Oh,
Balenciaga. I love it. I'm so into it. I love a good shoulder. I think it's really chic. If I could look... I guess this is a pretty unpopular opinion. Do you like Balenciaga?
I've like always hated it under Demna. Personally, like I am not a fan.
People don't like it, but
there are definitely moments to it that I enjoy. Like there's definitely sort of like I think Demna has a very interesting perspective as a designer, and as sort of like as a cultural commentator through his fashion. I think he like definitely has his finger on the pulse of like a lot of moods and trends that I think sort of are trends of the common person, and then
It's
he
that
kind
Eastern European.
yeah, I mean, it's like that's Slavic.
I love Euro trash though.
I
I'm
don't
really-
know.
I just think I don't know, the Hourglass bag, that's one of my favorite bags ever. I think Balenciaga bags are my personal favorite. Like the motorcycle bag.
That's a Nicola Guesquier.
I know,
bag,
I know.
By the
He
way.
invented that. I know.
Yeah.
But the Hourglass one, I'm really into it. Do you not like it? I think it's such a cunty bag.
I like don't even know what that looks like.
It's like the curve. It's shaped. They made it shaped after like the Eiffel Tower. It was like inspired by that. It's so fucking cute.
I don't know. Here are my thoughts on Balenciaga. Like Balenciaga's like, it's interesting.
I
mean, it's interesting to
the
look at.
styling
It's
is
just
great. It's just like
it just doesn't speak to me. Like the no hate on Demna, no hate towards Demna. It's just not for me personally.
it's a common. I feel like a lot of people aren't into it, and I don't know. I really am. I don't know. I'm aware. The shows are always really like. I just really like that Eastern European. Like,
yeah, I think the shows
darkness.
are really cool.
I'm really into like a dark kind of like. I like dark and sexy. I don't like anything cutesy or like, you know.
I like cute as long as it's done in a way that's like, that's why I like older Miu Miu collections, because it's cute. That's done in a like
Lolita.
Yeah, like a kind of like a twisted, sick way, but it makes it kind of like interesting and hot. One of the things that one of the collections that I really enjoyed that I will probably be buying like a million pieces from is Vivienne Westwood.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I'm repping Viv today.
Oh, look at you.
I'm repping Viv.
I saw it.
Classic painter. This is actually a bathing suit, but I'm wearing it as a top because I think Vivienne Westwood
Wait,
was.
you wore this to
actually,
the beach?
I didn't wear this to the beach today. I wore a different bathing suit to the beach today. I went to the beach today. That's why we're filming at 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm packing to move back to New York.
But now we're here discussing fashion.
You know this Miu Miu reminded me of, what is Kamala Harris's daughter's name? That's like the aesthetic.
That is not her. That's Kamala Harris's stepdaughter, Ella Emhoff.
Ella Emhoff, yeah, the stepdaughter. That like the knit, like that's what her. Have you seen her Instagram? They literally were inspired by her. The fashion industry is like obsessed with her right now. Yeah, I don't like it, but it's true.
Yeah.
She's like a knitter. Haven't you seen her knitting?
But Miu Miu has done crochet before. That's like a staple of Miu Miu. Like it's not. I don't think that like Ella Emhoff inspired the Miu Miu collection. Like personally, like crocheting has been a thing that Miu Miu has done in the past.
No, yeah, for sure.
I know because I have a crocheted Miu Miu piece myself. So
it just reminds me of like her. I looked at her Instagram and all her knit stuff.
Bushwick art student.
Yeah, that's what I feel like that's what the Miu Miu kind of gave. But we'll
can we get let's talk about Vivienne Westwood, because Vivienne Westwood for me like was such a strong collection because they brought back like that classic painterly print, and then they just put that print on a bunch of different like jean jackets and whatever. And for me, like the painter print, that like sort of romantic painterly style, and done on, you know, something as simple as like a pair of jeans or a denim jacket or like a mini dress. I love it. I love that. It's so Vivienne. Like you just look at it and you automatically see Vivienne, and I think that is. I feel like that's what I needed. That was, I mean, besides Louis Vuitton, I think that maybe Vivienne Westwood had my favorite collection, but only because I could, not because it was anything particularly new, but it was because it was my favorite thing about Vivienne, remixed and redone.
For sure.
And I just feel like those pieces are gonna like.
Yeah, no.
Become instant classics.
I love Vivienne Westwood. I think it's timeless. It's like, you know, it's just.
I'm a huge Vivienne fan.
Same. It's just
she can do no wrong in my eyes.
She's top 5 for me, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna check and see like what else I wanna, what other shows that I thought were interesting enough to cover.
Oh, Givenchy.
Oh, Givenchy has a new designer.
Yeah.
It's like the Alix guy, the guy who did those Alix belts, and I forgot what his name is, but
I mean,
maybe his name is Alix.
some of the looks were good. I liked some of the looks. I didn't like the show as a whole, but like some of it was dark, it was sexy. I was a little into it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was definitely, it's his first collection for Givenchy. I say give it time.
There's a lot of that going on in fashion right now, like Raf Simons too. It's like
there's a lot of shuffling of designers at places, and so whatever. It's very difficult to have an opinion on a collection when it's like the designer's first season, because you want to give them the benefit of the doubt and you want to see how they grow and progress.
They have to
I wasn't blown away by Givenchy, but like let's give him time to prove himself.
I thought for a first collection, decent, you know.
Yeah, it was decent.
You know, I don't know. Givenchy is not like my particular taste. I've never been too into it. I don't know. It's interesting.
Another new designer. Oh my God, why did I just like lose my train of thought? Fendi. Kim Jones is now at Fendi.
Kim Jones at Fendi.
Girl,
yeah.
Honey, I don't want to be mean, but Fendi was.
I don't know. It was.
Read my mind. I'm not going to say anything, but read my mind. That's how I felt about Fendi.
Fendi, yeah. I mean, I'm never that interested in Fendi anyway. I didn't like Carl there.
Oh, I liked it. I liked Carl, and I liked the female designer at Fendi as well. I think that she had a lot of really like. I liked it. I think that Kim Jones doing women's wear, I had such high hopes for it. And then when I saw it, just the fits were so kind of weird and it just didn't feel elevated to me. And I felt like there were some sort of like bizarre statement pieces that weren't. Yeah, I wasn't super impressed.
I mean, yeah, no, I wasn't impressed.
But
I wouldn't write home about it. I like
exactly.
It was just kind of whatever. My favorite thing was Demi Moore.
Yeah, oh my God, I was literally about to say like Demi Moore.
I love it.
Girl.
People don't like it. I'm so obsessed with how her face looks now. Incredible. I love.
We love fillers.
Love fillers.
Poor Demi. I wish she hadn't gotten her fillers the day before the show, because clearly she should have let the fillers settle. That's like what I think.
I'm so into getting fillers and going straight to the runway.
Literally sitting in backstage getting injections. Obviously, Demi Moore is gorgeous, but I definitely feel like she should have let the fillers settle for a week or two.
I disagree. I loved it. It was a moment.
Yeah, it was definitely.
She stole the show.
She stole the show. Like literally, like every supermodel is in that show, but the only one people noticed was Demi Moore.
Which it's just such a random person to bring out of like where's Demi Moore been?
Where is it? They brought her out of the closet. They took her. They dusted Demi off, and they were like, "Open Fendi."
Oh my
God. I
mean.
Yeah, it was nice to see her reappear in something, and I felt like. I didn't feel like the collection, that Haute Couture Fendi collection, was particularly like interesting. Like I wasn't obsessed with the clothes personally.
Yeah. Once again, first collection.
Yeah, once again, first like, female couture collection too. I mean,
which is interesting to go from what he's been doing.
Yeah, it's definitely like also, Kim Jones is such an incredible menswear designer. I would like to see from Kim Jones is I would like to see the menswear translated into women's wear, because I think that he has such a cool and interesting point of view, and he just really is, like, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, menswear designer. Absolutely. And I think he makes men look cool and trendy and sophisticated, but without making them look stupid. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of like fashion on men can like kind of like emasculate them and make them look kind of like,
for sure, it's like effortlessly faggoty. Like chic.
And he doesn't. Not to say that there's nothing wrong with looking faggoty.
We love a faggoty.
We love a faggot, but I think that I feel like I think he's a good menswear designer.
Well, one of my favorites is the blazers with the like sashes coming out of it.
That
That's so
collection for
chic
Dior
to
was
me.
so
Like
good.
that's something that I want to like,
yeah,
put a scarf in one of my blazers. I love a blazer. That's like my favorite thing.
Yeah,
my
so
favorite
I
piece
think
of clothing.
for sure. I think that so I think that Kim Jones definitely has a ways to go when it comes to women's wear, but my hope is that he will take like the cool, laid back effort, like the effortlessness of his menswear and translate that into the women's wear. I think if you just literally put the same silhouettes on men, on women, excuse me, the same silhouettes that he puts on men, put those on silhouettes on women, it would work. Like I don't think he, whatever, like let's give him
It wasn't
time.
the worst. I have hopes. There
was a glimmer of promise.
Yeah, I think Kim Jones is great.
Yeah, we love Kim Jones.
Kim Jones.
Honey, I'm crossing my fingers for the next collection.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Virgil
at Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
Meh.
I mean, I like what he's doing for representation. I think it's definitely good. But I don't know. Like that translucent Louis Vuitton bag that looks so cheap. The like rainbow, like clear plastic.
That's not from this newest collection. That's like one of his first bags.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not my favorite.
I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan of Off-White, never been a fan of his work at Louis Vuitton personally. But the one thing I will say is that I have heard, this is like what I've heard in a positive thing. One of the positive critiques of Kim Jones has been, Virgil Abloh.
Virgil.
Like, God, Kim used to be at Louis Vuitton, so I'm like, my fucking dementia's acting up. But, I think that one of the more positive things that he did was he makes, or one of the more positive things that I've heard about him is that he cuts clothes for bigger men well. So like men who are slightly bigger, like heavier, perhaps overweight, they like his clothes a lot because they flatter a bigger guy.
Interesting.
Which I think is good, because I think rich people are oftentimes fat, so
especially Americans.
Yeah. So my nod to Virgil Abloh for dressing rich fat Americans. And dressing them well. That's a talent. Come on.
That's a talent.
But I'm not particularly inspired by anything that he does. Like, I haven't seen a single collection of Virgil's and been like, wow, that's amazing. And like how revolutionary and how cool. Like he's obviously very like product driven, which is probably like why Louis Vuitton enjoys him so much. It's just not for me.
A lot of these brands, it's like the bags are like, the accessories. It's really, but I don't know what.
I think his bags are good. So I wanted to talk about Courrèges as well.
Was that the drive-in one?
No, that one is Coperni. We can talk about Coperni first because Coperni is Sebastian and Arnaud. They're two amazing younger designers. They actually used to work at Courrèges as a design duo, and now they have their own brand called Coperni. And I think it's cool.
It's simple. It's chic.
It's simple. It's chic, and it's also like, for example, in a world of like maybe too much, when stuff is too much, like when Gucci is a lot, like
Gucci, oh my god,
a lot of brands are a lot, and I think it's nice that Coperni is taking a more practical stance to dressing, and I can see myself wearing a lot of those clothes. I can see a lot of people wearing those clothes
for sure,
and like looking good and not looking crazy. And then on top of that too, the show was so cool. How it was like a drive-in, and then also the lighting for the show was all lit by cars, which was amazing.
It was cool. It was definitely definitely interesting to see how they navigated COVID too.
Yeah.
You know.
So props to them. I love the Coperni boys on a personal level, but also I just think that they have their finger on the pulse of what people want right now, and I felt like it was great.
There's a lot of like,
and it was sexy too. I felt like there were some sexy bits to it, and I like that it's like,
that's what I miss.
sexy.
I miss really like sexy, slutty, like, you know, it's just
nobody's
like
sexy and slutty anymore. Bring back sexy and slutty.
bring back sexy and slutty,
please.
You know, like even, you know, Versace is sexy, but like it's not as like, you know, there's tight dresses.
I feel like Versace's very sexy.
Versace's probably the sexiest, you know.
Yeah. I thought Blue Marine was also sexy. I know you didn't.
Okay.
I know you didn't see Blue Marine, but when you see it, if you would like go home and like look at that collection, because when you go home and look at it, like you're gonna enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, also the other brand I wanted to talk about was Courrèges. So Courrèges has a new designer, Nicola Di Felice, and he was a designer at Louis Vuitton with Nicolas Ghesquière. His new collection for for Courrèges. Like all these designers shuffle around so much. Like I'm having like dyslexic cognitive dissonance, like remembering what designers at which brand, because like everybody's all over the place all the time. It would be nice to see a designer just like stay at a brand for more than like 3 seasons, but anyways, so Courrèges with Nicola Di Felice, I thought it was really nice. I felt like there were a lot of like nice offerings, and I thought that I felt like I could see people wearing it and enjoying it, and it also was not screaming. It was just like nice staples, like nice staple pieces that I think a lot of people could wear and enjoy. I thought the setting was cool too. It was like done in a white box, which I liked.
I think it's like we're at a place where, I don't know, it's COVID. It's like simplicity is kind of nice, you know? It's like the extravagance is a little like out of touch, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I think, I don't know. It's just like, it can be a lot in these times. I don't know. I think, I don't know. There's, I'm really interested in just like sustainability and like these machines that can like make clothes. I was reading a lot about that. They like recycle like fabrics and can make new clothes. I think that's really cool. I'm excited for that technology. I get kind of freaked out by a lot of technology, but
okay. Whatever. I like my clothes made by children in sweatshops, actually. So if a 10-year-old didn't make it in Bangladesh, then I'm not wearing it.
Okay.
Period.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just kidding, people. Like, obviously, that's terrible. Like, child labor laws are important. If you're... Listen up, Bangladesh. Yeah. I feel like those were like most of the collections I thought were interesting or that I thought were noteworthy. I thought,
Comme des Garçons was crazy.
Yeah.
Did you see?
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
It always is though. So like
it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's Rei Kawakubo doing what Rei Kawakubo does best. Like I thought it was cool. I thought it was interesting. Like it's for me, like Cum is always kind of like, it's always good. Just like Rick is always good too. Yeah. Like Rick Owens and Comme des Garçons are always kind of like reliably like good. They like stick to that's what I also like about Hedi Slimane is like they stick to what they know and they have perfected their particular category of dressing.
Yeah.
Like Cum is like nobody else can do Comme des Garçons like Rei Kawakubo does Comme des Garçons. Nobody can do Rick Owens like Rick Owens does Rick Owens. Like, and the people obviously try and fail to copy that aesthetic, but it doesn't really work.
Rick Owens is just like I love.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. I can't think. Okay, so in New York City, like I feel like we've neglected to bring up like any collections in New York that were interesting. But I thought that Peter Doe,
Laquan.
Oh, like yeah, Laquan Smith. Laquan Smith like definitely makes cool collections for sure. I can see people wearing them.
Arena.
Didn't see it.
The like crystal thing. It was cool.
Yeah.
You didn't see that, really?
No. Oh, maybe I did. Oh, Area.
Area. Sorry.
Is it called Area?
Sorry. Oops.
Yeah. area was cool.
Area.
Scott Borelli is really interesting now.
Oh yeah, I saw some guy like saying that they copied him. This guy that I follow on Instagram, because he does like these bags with like ears. And he's like trying to get Diet Prada on it. Oh, Diet Prada and Dolce and Gabbana.
Oh, that's like, should we just like take a moment to discuss like some fashion scandals of the moment?
Yeah,
like what's
happening. We did Alexander Wang.
Well, we didn't, because we stopped filming and we started again.
Yeah. So
should we like?
Alexander Wang?
Should we take a moment? We're gonna take a moment to discuss fashion scandals now, if you guys are all prepared. But there were quite a few interesting scandals that occurred.
Quite a few.
Yeah, there were the two main ones were Alexander Wang and Diet Prada and Dolce & Gabbana. Shall we start with Diet Prada and Dolce & Gabbana?
Yeah.
Dolce & Gabbana is suing Diet Prada for defamation, which is
I'm Team
kind
Dolce.
of... You're Team Dolce?
No.
I'm Team Dolce too, kind of, but that's...
No.
I'm only biased because I think that Diet Prada has like completely perpetuated cancel culture and like for the worst. Like I think that they obviously are just one of many players in the chess game of cancel culture for sure.
Yeah.
But they are majorly into canceling. And I think that a lot of times their call outs are mistargeted.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
also, everybody's getting tired of the cancel culture thing. It's like not interesting. Like, and also save your drama. Save the call outs for when they really matter and they really count.
Yeah, it takes away from the real point. If you're
calling out people for dumb shit, how can you expect them to listen when you have something important to say? It's like kind of like crying wolf.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Like, and so
everybody just like goes online and yells.
Yeah,
it's
definitely. And I think just Diet Prada, with all due respect to them, like they have perpetuated this cancel culture thing in a really, that's really what Diet Prada is. It's a cancellation account at this point. Like,
for sure.
They very rarely like celebrate anything interesting or bring attention to anything that's important. And also, these people aren't journalists. And they're just Instagram account admins. They are not journalists.
They pick and choose too. It's like
they definitely pick and choose.
There's a lot of things that seems like
they're biased.
They have loyalty to certain brands. It seems like. So
definitely.
It's just like fake news.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I unfollowed Diet Prada like long ago because I saw the direction it was headed in, and I just was like kind of disappointed because I feel like what they had going for them in the beginning was so good, and I think fashion needed somebody to like slap the industry on the wrist and check them.
For sure.
However, some of the stuff that they check is such a reach. Like they're constantly reaching. It's like, aren't your arms tired from reaching so far, Diet Prada?
I mean, people really go out of their way. It takes a lot of energy. I really don't understand.
Well, they've capitalized on outrage culture. Like Diet Prada has absolutely capitalized on outrage, and I wish they wouldn't do that so often because I feel like when they do have stuff to say and when they do call stuff out that's important, it really is important, and they've highlighted a lot of really important scandals and stories, and like that's a great thing. However, like
I don't think
it should be more measured, it should be more edited, it should be thought through.
Checks and balances. Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, there's pros and cons. I mean, they called out Alexander Wang.
Yeah, which is good and brought attention to that. And that's the next scandal that we're going to discuss because Alexander Wang obviously didn't have a collection this season.
Yeah.
But
so sad.
So sad. Not that anyone really cares because it's not like his collections are particularly interesting or noteworthy in the first place and haven't been for like the past like 5 years or 6 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that to just like in a creative way. I don't really like. I'm not interested in Alexander Wang, and I think
it was a moment at one point.
Yeah, definitely. He like capitalized off of like the model off duty thing in the late 2000s, which was a great style and like was a great aesthetic, and he had his moment in the spotlight, and then he got lost in the sauce clearly, and then like the that party girl model off duty thing. It went from like model off duty to like model in the bathroom snorting lines of ketamine. Like, it's like
Yeah.
It definitely
it's kind of like when it all came out, this was a known thing among people that went out in New York.
Let me just for people who don't know what happened to Alexander Wang, like let me just explain sort of like the crux of that scandal. So it originated on TikTok. There was a boy on TikTok who said that he had been sexually assaulted by a fashion designer, and somebody just guessed that it was Alexander Wang. And then the boy was like, yeah, because it was guessed correctly. Yeah, it was this guy Alexander Wang. And so that TikTok blew up, which then prompted other people to come forward with allegations. And so Alexander Wang is allegedly a sexual predator, and one of the darker accusations against Mr. Wang is that he was giving people drugs, young male models and young boys drugs, in the hopes of making sexual advances on them, and I think in some cases was successful.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely know people.
Yeah, also the thing about me and Jordan is me and Jordan grew up like in our early 20s. We spent a lot of time like in the New York nightlife scene, partying in the same space as like Alexander Wang, and we both know people who have had experiences.
It was a known thing in the scene. Yeah, if you were in the scene, but nobody ever like made a big deal out of it because it was Alexander Wang. But it's like, who gives a fuck? Like, I don't get why that gets a pass. That's one of the only kind of canceled things that I've been like agreeing with.
Well, obviously sexual assault is on a spectrum, like for sure. That there are some things that there are levels to this. Alexander Wang, what he did was like clearly super inappropriate and wrong and criminal. He's what he allegedly did.
I think he's the perfect definition, as Sophia Lamar would say, a shitty faggot.
Well,
it's just whenever you like
I don't not agree. I mean,
whenever he showed up at the club with his like Wang gang, it's just like flipping the hair. It's just like so obnoxious.
The Wings, rest in peace to the Wang Squad. Bye. R.I.P. Wang Squad. But honestly, here's the thing: is like people can redeem themselves. I hope Alexander Wang redeems himself and becomes a better person because of this scandal, and maybe this will be the kick in the ass he needs to become a more interesting designer.
Yeah, let's see if it sparks some creativity.
Yeah, like I hope
there was none at Balenciaga.
Yeah, there was no one who was at Balenciaga.
I can't even believe that happened. That's the biggest scandal. That's the worst thing.
The biggest scandal wasn't even that he was sexually assaulting people. It was that he was appointed to Balenciaga in the first place.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The worst assault of all.
Well, just for the record, I walked Alexander Wang back in the day. Not back in the day, a few years ago.
You were in the Wang gang?
I absolutely fucking not. I was not in the Wang gang, and I never will be.
Did you go on the party bus?
Nope. No party bus for me. No Molly water for me. No party bus for me. No male models. No fucked up male models trying to get at it. No, none of that shit.
Damn, but we missed out.
It was so tragic. However, I knew that Alex was doing shady stuff even back then. And I specifically asked not to walk his show when I was, I didn't want to work with him. And unfortunately, I had really terrible bookers who did not have my best interests at heart. And I told them about this experience that had happened with my friend and Alex. And I knew that he had issues with touching people inappropriately. Mm-hmm. And I asked my agents, I remember I had a fitting, and at the time I really was taking a hardline stance on sexual assault, and I was like, I will not work with people who sexual assault. Like, who have been accused of sexual predatory behaviors. Like, I don't want to do that. I didn't want to associate with that. It's not what I stand for. It's not like, it's not what I want to be associated with. And I knew that he was doing some shady stuff like this. And I foresaw this scandal coming for years.
Yeah.
And I asked when I had a fitting for his show, I told my agents, I was like, I really don't want to walk the show. And they had like threatened me to do it. They told me if I didn't do it, the casting director, who's a very big casting director who casts for a lot of big shows, would never work with me again. And at the time I was young and naive and I didn't stand my ground, and I sort of like I didn't want to miss out on other opportunities.
For sure.
And so I just did the damn show, and I honestly feel guilty about it. Like, I don't feel...
I wouldn't. You like, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. I looked really
fucking good in that show, though. I saved that show as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know, it's like sometimes you have to make the sacrifice.
Well, I don't want to... Here's the thing is I don't want to sacrifice on my morals anymore. Like, that's a hardline stance that I'm taking. But it took me, like, becoming an adult to understand, like... It took me, there was a lot of pressure on me to work with him, and so I did, and I feel bad about it. I feel guilty about it, and I don't support what he has done. And I think that the day of reckoning for these abusers in fashion has come, and it's just all very sad. And I hope that he gets the help that he needs, and I hope that he hopefully there's a great redemption story, and I hope that all of the victims of his predatory behavior, I hope that they are okay, and
for sure
aren't going to have to suffer with the trauma of that forever. But sexual assault is a really dark thing, and it's incredibly traumatizing, and it's something that you live with and suffer with forever.
In the club, it's like people grope you all the time, and it's rude.
It is rude, for sure. But he took it like it wasn't just that he was touching people. It was also that he was like giving people drugs.
Well, we know someone.
Yeah, we know somebody who was
a few people.
We know a few people. Oh yeah, we do know a few people.
I just remember being at Holy Mountain and someone coming up being like, "Oh my God, Alexander Wang just pulled up my skirt," and
trans girl.
Yeah, and he was
exposed. We have a friend who is a transgender friend of ours, and Alexander Wang at this party lifted up the skirt while this person was on stage, I believe.
And she doesn't fuck around.
And and exposed this trans woman's private parts in front of 1,000 people, like hundreds of people, and she's very traumatized by it, and I feel really bad for her actually that happened, and I think it's like really sick and twisted. And you know what, this needed to happen. Unfortunately, I mean, whatever. Here's like what ended up happening to Alexander Wang. So there was a class action lawsuit filed against him, and all these was it class action? Is that what it's called when there's like multiple people?
I believe so.
It's not just one. So because there were multiple victims that came forward, they all collectively sued Alex.
But didn't somebody notable come forward? Who?
Yeah, I think somebody did, but I don't know that many specific. I don't know the specifics of every allegation. I've read about it many times though.
I think when you're in those positions of power and you act like that, it's just not. It's not.
It has to. Yeah, definitely. You can't take advantage of people. You can't take advantage of people. You can't touch people without consent. And
he walked in the place like he owned everything. And it's just not. Yeah. You have to have respect. It's not like you have to have
respect for people's boundaries. And so let me just say what happened. So there was a lawsuit filed against him, and he settled. So the statement was something like the victims and Alex had a discussion and came to the conclusion that it's better that we all just move on from the situation, or blah 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 blah, something bullshit. Like what happened? Like in my opinion, like if I am just speculating, I speculate
money
that there was a payment, and these people got paid off.
They probably
to
got
be
paid
silent.
well. Would you take a payment? A good payment?
Depends on how much. Depends on how much and how much I needed the money.
Yeah.
But anyways, not to end on such a negative note, but
Scandalous.
it's not to end on such a scandalous note, but why don't we discuss like maybe one more? Like not discuss one more thing. Like let's conclude the episode on a positive note.
Yeah.
What was your favorite fashion moment or favorite fashion show or favorite fashion accessory? Like what was your
This
favorite
past season?
This past season. Like what was your favorite thing?
God. Demi Moore's cheekbones. I really like.
I literally like I will agree on that. Demi Moore's
it.
plastic surgery serve was
My least favorite was Paris Hilton.
and Lanvin.
Lanvin, not the look. I think Demi tore it. So
Yeah, you didn't like Paris and Lanvin.
not a fan. I'm not a fan of Paris. It's just like
Yeah. I, however, am a fan of I would say definitely like the most notable fashion moment of the entire season was Demi Moore's opening the show with that major plastic surgery moment. We love you, Demi Moore. You were fucking amazing in Ghost and in Charlie's Angels, and I salute you.
Oh God, I wish she had those cheeks in Charlie's Angels. I love it.
I love it. I love like when she's wearing the lingerie and the fur coat and she's holding the gun.
That's the best look.
Yeah.
I miss. Yeah.
That was Charlie's Angels is such a great movie. Not the most recent one that came out with
remake.
Kristen. Not the remake with Kristen Stewart that I did not watch because why bother?
Yeah.
We like old school 2000s Charlie's Angels.
For sure. Nobody makes good movies anymore. Literally
if I see it, I'm so tired of these super fucking hero movies. Like no more.
Oh my God, I'm
movies.
so tired of it.
I know, no more. Like if there's another Avengers that comes out, I'm literally gonna throw myself out of a window. Like there's enough superhero bullshit.
It's ridiculous. I can't even begin to understand that world. Like it's just not.
Demi Moore is my superhero. She's the only superhero that matters to me. She with those super cheekbones.
Who's your fashion icon? Like who's your like biggest inspiration?
I have so many.
I have like one of my favorites is Muammar Gaddafi.
Muammar Gaddafi.
Yeah, the dictator of Libya. He had like that. His like all these guards that were women in really like hot suits, and he always wore this really like flamboyant, extravagant stuff. I love dictator chic.
Dictator chic. My greatest fashion inspiration is probably Ivanka Trump.
Oh, I mean Melania. Ivanka, really?
I just like I have like an affinity for Ivanka for some reason. I love Ivanka Trump, and I love her voice and her sexy whisper and her tone. There's something about Melania. I also major plastic surgery.
I love Melania.
We
have you seen the Annie Leibovitz picture of her she's on the jet, she's pregnant, she's in a gold bathing suit, Donald's in the Maybach in front of the jet. It's crazy.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's really intense.
Well, anyways, I think we've gone on long enough and we've talked about fashion long enough. That concludes this episode of Unholy and Curious. Let us know in the comments down below if you're watching us on YouTube what you thought your favorite collection was.
Yeah.
What were hits and misses? Like, I'm dying to know what people think.
I think there was
Also, just keep in mind that, like, art is subjective, so we're just, like, two shitty faggots reviewing art. We're not,
I think I enjoy a lot of things, but it's also, critique. There's things out of every collection that I could wear. You know?
There's good stuff in every collection for sure. There were even in the bad collections, there's still stuff I would wear out of all of them.
I think
maybe not Miu Miu, but anyways,
fashion is
fashion.
It makes me very happy.
Fashion makes me happy too. Even the bad fashion makes me happy.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just like
I like that we can come together, and talk shit about fashion.
For sure. There's like no better part of my day than getting ready. That's like in the morning.
Getting dressed is like the most therapeutic thing. We love it. Anyways, from two fashion hoes, we salute you and we sign out. Thank you for watching this episode of Unholy and Curious, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
So